I'm not a Bill O'Reilly fan. Matter of fact, yeah, I think he's a racist. But that being said, out of all the evening guys on Fox, he's pretty much the only one that I can halfway listen to, even though I 100% disagree with him and pretty much can't stand him. But at least his particular shows, have at least some measure of rationality to them. He's going to interview Donald Trump, which is always an adventure in fantasy. And I want you to pay attention to this particular segment and the words that are going to be on the right side of the screen, particularly when he's going to ask, claims he's going to ask Trump for specifics. So here we go.
We don't stand with anyone. We will not do what is necessary to defeat this evil. The ISIS battle should be a major presidential campaign issue. If Hillary Clinton is going to continue the policies of Barack Obama, every American should know that. On the other side, Donald Trump needs to get very specific about his plan to defeat ISIS and the jihad. He should spell it out. And that's a memo. Now to the top story, let's bring in the Republican presidential candidate. Donald Trump joins us now from Bangor, Maine. So I'm looking for specifics tonight, Mr. Trump. Do you have any for us?
Well, I do have them, and I hate to give them out because, frankly, if I win and it looks like I have a pretty good chance of winning, I don't like to be giving out all this information. I'd like to just go and do the job. If you look at General Patton, he wasn't one to give out information on television and then do whatever he has to do.
Yeah, but I mean,
hate to give it out, but we're going to have to. I know that, but I've given out plenty. Believe me, I was the one that said take the oil, and I hated to tell everybody. And we should have taken the oil when we left, and we didn't do it. And who has the oil now? ISIS has the oil.
Yeah, but the oil is not going to stop people from blowing. Taking the oil is not going to stop people from blowing up airports and killing people in nightclubs. And so, what I'm trying to get at here is, look, I just laid out a very specific plan.
Which is true. He did. You didn't see that piece of it, but he did lay out a specific plan. But all Trump ever screams about is hitting them really hard. He has constantly said to take the oil away from him. But as Bill stated, taking the oil away from him is not going to stop the acts of terror. Trump has been screaming that he's got a plan that will defeat him, but we never hear even the slightest drivel of whatever his plan is going to be. So as far as I'm concerned, he's just basically talking noise.
But it's a plan that doesn't have, well, we're going to invade here and we're going to have this many troops here. We're not that. But just a plan that you mobilize the most powerful alliance on the face of the earth, okay? They commit, all right, to killing savages. That's a plan.
100%.
All right.
Yeah,
President
100%.
Obama doesn't have a plan.
No problem. I mean, I have to
would you do that? Would you go to Brussels and get NATO? Would you do it?
Okay, so Bill, if you remember 4 months ago, I said that NATO is obsolete because they don't cover terrorism, and everybody smiled and they all had a good time, and they were saying, well, what does he know, what does he know? But I said NATO's obsolete. I also said the countries of NATO aren't paying us what they should be paying us. They're not even living up to their agreement. Okay, so about 3 or 4 days after I said it, people that study NATO said, you know what, Trump is right. Then about 2 weeks ago on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, I read where NATO is setting up a whole terrorism organization, and I said it's obsolete because it doesn't cover terrorism properly. And they all said I was right. Now they're setting up an organization headed by one of the top people, and they have a terrorism organization. Okay, does anybody say that was a good move or that was good thought? No, but that's okay. NATO ought to go in there and wipe them out. And I think also Turkey, Turkey has been deceived by ISIS. And assuming this was ISIS that did the attack yesterday, Turkey has been totally deceived. Turkey is a very strong army. I have a feeling that.
So what he's saying is that Turkey was in cahoots with ISIS, and now they're being deceived because ISIS, quote unquote, has made a terrorist attack on the country of Turkey. So Turkey was an ally of ISIS, and now they're not. Come on, Donald.
Turkey will be unleashing a very strong force.
So they're 50 miles away
because of
they're 50 miles away.
They're very close. Yeah,
they could get to Raqqa. They could get to Raqqa in 2 hours with a mechanized unit. But it's Muslims fighting Muslims, and they don't want to do that because Turkey has its own.
Well, I think they're going to do it. I think now they're going to do it. I think with the proper leadership in our country, Turkey would do it, and Turkey should do it. They have a massive military. They could do it.
But we have to back them up
as effectively as anybody.
Yeah, Turkey's a member of NATO. Okay, so and they have big Air Force bases
if we have to
there.
back
we back them up with air power.
Yeah,
they bring them in and they do it. But you know what,
Bill? All of a sudden, Turkey's getting hit. I mean, Turkey's getting hit, and they're getting hit hard.
But you have to pound this drum.
Turkey.
You see, you have to go out there and you have to pound it. Look, let me just contrast it.
I think I found it pretty good, actually.
There was a press conference today with the President of the United States, the President of Mexico, and the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. You know what they led with? You know what they led with? Protection for gays. No. Protection for gays. That was the lead. All right? You know what was second? Global warming. Big alliance on global warming. Yeah. Nothing wrong with protecting gays. Nothing wrong with global warming. But that's the lead less than 24 hours after ISIS blows up another airport. That's what's on their minds. Yeah. You can separate yourself if you become a terror warrior. And I mean a real terror warrior.
Well, I think I have, though, Bill. I think you just have to look at the polls. Look at what's happening. In terms of terrorism, I'm leading in the polls. In terms of military, I'm doing very well in the polls. And a lot of people don't understand. You know, I do have a pretty great understanding and a common sense of what's going on. I was not one that wanted to go into Iraq. It was a...
That's bullshit, Donald, because basically you were stating that you wanted no Muslims entering the country. You basically were pissing off all the Muslim countries. So if you had a good understanding, you definitely didn't show it.
Huge negative. It was a huge mistake to go into Iraq. When we came out of Iraq, I was not one that wanted to go up. We came out the wrong way. We just took everybody and left, and hence the creation essentially of ISIS. And you know...
Okay, that's bullshit. Number one, they got you on tape stating that you lukewarmly wanted to go into Iraq. So that's a matter of record, and they play that all over the place. That on that radio show with Howard Stern, he asked you a question about going into Iraq, and you said yeah. Number two, ISIS was not formed under the Obama administration or underneath Hillary Clinton. ISIS actually was formed under your buddy and mine, George Bush. So you need to get that piece of it straight.
ISIS was created during the Hillary Clinton regime. She's been there forever, Bill.
That's a lie.
She's been there forever. She has done nothing about ISIS, and it started with her, and frankly, nothing's happened. If anything, I think they've gotten stronger. You want to know the truth. They may do drone
they haven't gotten stronger,
but I think they've gotten stronger.
They haven't gotten stronger command and control.
They're
because
all
they're
over
losing
the place,
territory. But they are becoming
they're all over the place.
They're becoming a different terror organization. But there is no solution to this problem unless you devastate them and show the jihad that you're not going to take it anymore. It's all psychological.
That's what has to be done. I agree. And not only that, the fact that they seem to have these victories, I don't know if you call that a victory, but it's a victory. It's perceived as a victory. You have, through the internet, they're taking our youth and the youth from other countries all over the world, and they're joining ISIS. The youth thinks it's wonderful because they see victory. You know, it's being portrayed as they are beating the United States.
All right, now.
And people are joining ISIS because of that. You have to knock them hard. You got to beat the hell out of them.
Hillary Clinton's going to have to get tougher on terrorism, and she is. And
she'll never get tougher. She's not tough enough. She's going
to get tougher, at least rhetorically, on terrorism. She's going to have to, because President Obama's policy of containment has failed. Everybody in the world knows it's
I don't
failed.
see it happening.
I got to give it to Bill, though. He's being pretty reasonable, as opposed to Trump, who's being like a goddamn raving maniac here.
With her. She's not going to get tougher. It started under her. It was a little group of people. It could have been wiped out quickly and effectively then. Now it's a very large group of people, and it's only getting bigger. And if she gets in, it'll be massive, and we won't even have a country anymore. We're going to be afraid to walk outside.
All right. Yeah.
He is such a goddamn fearmonger. It's like ridiculous. It didn't start under Clinton. Let me repeat that. It started under Bush, okay? And yeah, it started as a small group of people that were under the radar, and it grew and grew and grew, so that by the time the Obama administration came in, it was fairly sizable. Now, Obama fucked up by calling him a JV, and he should have never done that. He should have kept his mouth shut, basically. And in my opinion, he should have paid a lot more attention to him than he did. Now, as far as the withdrawal of troops and all of that, that was Bush. Bush had negotiated the withdrawal of troops, and Obama basically just put a timetable on it. Well, actually, he adhered to the timetable that Bush had set on it because we couldn't negotiate a remaining forces agreement with Iraq. So, you know, that is what it is.
We're gonna hold Mr. Trump over.
And Bill, remember one other.
Now, here's a point where O'Reilly tries to get Trump out of Dutch, and Trump can't stop running his mouth.
They're letting tens of thousands of people come in from Syria, and nobody knows who these people are.
All right, well, we went
and
through
a
that
lot
already.
of those people are ISIS.
Okay.
A lot of these people are ISIS.
I'm not convinced of that, but I think there has to be a slowdown on that and a real vetting. But I want to hold.
All right, and obviously Trump is wrong because the United States, we are letting come in the smallest number of Syrian refugees of pretty much any other major country in the world, and it takes them 2 years to go through the process. Now, you may have your qualms about whatever the process is that they go through, but it's still a 2-year waiting period. So these tens of thousands of people that Trump is jumping up and down about, he's full of crap.
Continuing now with Donald Trump, new Quinnipiac poll says the race between him and Hillary Clinton is just about tied. And a new Fox News poll just out today has Hillary Clinton beating Trump by 6 points. However, among voters who describe themselves as very interested in the upcoming election, the race is a statistical tie again, just like Quinnipiac. Last night in Los Angeles, Hillary Clinton said this.
I am determined to say, look, you may not vote for me, Trump supporters. I get that because you really are upset about immigration, or you're upset about trade, or you're upset about, the feeling that the jobs that you had that gave you a good living are gone. So I'm very sympathetic to that. I am not sympathetic to the xenophobia, the misogyny, the homophobia, the Islamophobia, and all of the other sort of dog whistles that Trump uses to create that fervor among a lot of his supporters.
Okay, that was about 45 seconds. To be fair, we'll give Mr. Trump the same amount of time to reply. Go.
All of the phobias that nobody even knows what she's talking about, to be honest with you. Why doesn't she say it like it is? I mean, it's just ridiculous. And frankly, she knows exactly what's happening. She sees what's happening. People are tired. They're losing their jobs. Their jobs are being taken away. Companies are moving to Mexico. Just moving. They just pick up and move. You look at what went on with Carrier. You look at Ford. You look at so many different. They're a mile long, and we're losing our jobs. We're losing everything in this country. We're losing our spirit. I was in Ohio. I was in Pennsylvania yesterday. I was in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, and I want to tell you, the lines of people that we have, they're so sick and tired of hearing things like what she is just saying. Nobody even knows what she's talking about. And you tell me, that's presidential? She's presidential sitting there? I don't think so.
All right.
I do, because actually she was focusing on exactly what people were concerned about. And as far as the phobias, everybody knows all the phobias. If you don't, basically, you need to do your own research. But Trump is basically just sprouting bullshit here, trying to. You can't even call it spin because he's sprouting gibberish.
Now, the new Fox News poll is interesting. You're up 10 points among men, American men. She's at 36, you're at 46. But among women, she's up on you 19, 51-32. So it would seem that you're going to have to tailor your message a little bit more to women voters. Are you willing to do that?
Well, I am, and I think I'm doing great with women. You know, today I'm in Maine. We have a sold-out arena. The place is packed, and yesterday in Ohio and in Pennsylvania and in West Virginia, it's packed with lines going outside. It's incredible. And
how the hell are you doing great with women when you're down 19 points? I mean, he's going to sprout this bullshit. He sees a whole bunch of women, okay? And yeah, those are the, you know, he probably sees the women that are, in fact, in support of him. But being down 19 points to on the women's side, no. He needs to moderate his message. Now, there's a way for him to get away from all this, but Trump being Trump, he's never going to take it.
Half of these people, I mean, more than half, it seems, are women, and they have signs up, "Women for Trump, we love you, Donald," all this stuff. I mean, it's unbelievable what's going on, and I hear the poll, and I see it, and I've seen a couple of others.
Well,
32% of poll out that I'm at.
32% of women support
I'm up
you.
to 32 or 33,
and
which
they're
is
the ones with the signs, but the other ones who don't aren't.
Well,
but it seems to me.
But Bill, I just saw the poll. That came out. I think it's Quinnipiac. I'm at 33%. I'm at 33% with Hispanic. Now I'm 6 or 7 or 8 points higher than Romney was. And, you know, if I listened to you, in all fairness, a few months ago, I was going to get nothing with Hispanic.
I'm saying
but I'm up to like 33%.
I think that 33% poll is an outlier because most of the polls that I've seen as far as Hispanic support is concerned, he's somewhere around 12 to 15%. I take that back. 15 to 22% support with Hispanic voters. But that 33%, I think that's really an outlier.
In a political campaign, and believe me, I'm not one to give advice to anybody because I'm not a politician, but traditionally the message was tailored to a certain group. That's how votes are won. You have not run a traditional campaign, so I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying you're down 19 in the Fox poll on women, and if you are going to tailor a message to them, I'd like to know. I'd like to know what that message is. That's all.
Well, I can tell you right now what it is. It's strength. It's borders. It's a strong military. We are going to protect our country. It's keeping people that want to kill us out of our country. You have to be vetted, and I mean vetted very strongly. It's not letting the people from the migration, the Syrians, or whoever they are, because we have no idea who they are, Bill, because you can't tell who they are because they have no paperwork whatsoever.
So it's a protection.
And Obama and Clinton are letting them come into our country by the thousands,
so
and we're not going to let them come in. We can't let them come in.
The security message may resonate. Final question in this poll. 30% of Americans, only 30%, see Hillary Clinton as being honest and trustworthy, but 34% only see you as honest and trustworthy. Again, are you going to tell our message that might get that number up?
All right, that 34% of him being honest and trustworthy, that number's dropped like 10 points. So he's going down on the polls, and he's going down pretty much looks like in all the polls. And as far as him tailoring his message to women, that bullshit it's not bullshit, but the things that he said just now regarding trade and defense, etc., he's been sprouting that same message ever since he got in here. So if he wants to call that tailoring his message to women, that's not going to work.
I'm honest, I'm trustworthy, I tell it like it is.
Honest and trustworthy with a RICO federal lawsuit pending against you for Trump University? I don't think so.
Here, I didn't need to do this. I'm enjoying it, but I'm enjoying it because we're going to make America great again. We are going to make America great again. We're also going to make America safe again, Bill.
You know what, I have to say, and I've said this before, you're willing to take fire from guys like me.
If you call that fire, oh my God, if he calls that softball interview with Trump fire, I hate to see what the real fire is, because that damn sure wasn't it.
But Mrs. Clinton much more reticent to do that. However, we hope, and she'll come on, and we invite her on all the time. But you're here, and I think that means something. So we appreciate your time, as always, Mr. Trump.
Thank you.
Direct.
Yeah, that's the reason why Trump comes on, because he knows that Fox is not going to fire him up. Now, CNN, they've had him on a couple of times, and a couple of people on there have actually fired him up. MSNBC, he basically stopped even calling pretty much into the show. So I guess with Joe and Mika being up as